4 Yorkshire Holly, Mutari 3-1, Crystal Spirit 9-2. Past Glory is 13-2, Mrs. Muck 7-1. That's going out all the time. Calabrese 12s on 18-1, Jimbaloo, and that's come in. Remember, it opened at 25s, went to 20s. It's now 18-1. Royan 50-1, and the same price, None So Wise.
You're right now, come on!
They're off to a first-timer, Crystal Spirit and None So Wise, two confirmed front-runners going on, with Mutari up with them as they run to the first of 10 flights of hurdles. And None So Wise didn't jump it too well. Mutari, a good jump, takes him into the lead from Crystal Spirit, and None So Wise, a little gap then to Mrs. Muck, who's heading the main group as they jump the second. And again, None So Wise wasn't any too tidy at the hurdle. Mutari setting a good pace, a length and a half ahead of Crystal Spirit. Then None So Wise a close third, and these three well clear of the main group of runners, who are headed by Ruan. Then Mrs. Muck is in 5th place. Quite a long run before they get to the third flight of hurdles. They're about to pass the 2-mile start, and still Mutari in the lead from Crystal Spirit, None So Wise, Ruyan taking a strong hold and closing the gap in 4th place. Then we've got Mrs. Muck towards the left of the picture with Calabrese as they now jump flight number 3. Mutari over first from Crystal Spirit, None So Wise, Calabrese taking closer order. Then Ruyan, Past Glories, Mrs. Muck, Yorkshire Holly and Jimbaloo. Coming to the 4th flight, Mutari and Richard Dunwoody. Jumped to the front of the first and has stayed there ever since. Crystal Spirit, the novice and the sheepskin noseband, None So Wise, the bandage forelegs on the inside. And then Ruyan, Calabrese, Past Glories, Jimbaloo, Mrs. Muck and Yorkshire Holly. But all just where they want to be at the moment as they set out on the final circuit. Mutari by a length from Crystal Spirit, a length and a half then to None So Wise, who's racing almost level with Ruyan. Calabrese is 5th, Past Glories 6, Yorkshire Holly 7, Mrs. Muck and Peter Scudamore 8th, and Jimbaloo on the inside is just the back marker as they run down to the 5th flight. Very strong pace here with Mutari being joined by Crystal Spirit on the outside. They both jump it well again. None So Wise possibly feeling the effects of that fall at Ascot. He's been losing ground at his hurdles, and from disputing the lead he's dropping back to last but one as they jump the second of those 3 quick flights on the far side. And Mutari from Crystal Spirit, Ruyan, Calabrese, then Past Glories, Yorkshire Holly taking closer order. This is the 4th from home, and Mutari just got a bit close to that. Another mistake by None So Wise. It's Mutari the leader from Crystal Spirit, Ruyan, Calabrese, Yorkshire Holly moving up with Past Glories, then Mrs. Muck, Jimbaloo, and last of all now None So Wise as they race up the hill to the 3rd last flight. Mutari and Ruyan on the inside. Then Crystal Spirit still going well on the outside. Yorkshire Holly tucked in just behind. Then Calabrese. Calabrese is followed by Past Glories on the inside, but it's Mutari as they start to race down the hill with 2 to jump. Mrs. Muck creeping up on the inside. We just got a glimpse of her, but Mutari and Crystal Spirit from Ruan. Then Yorkshire Holly is 4th, a gap then to Past Glories, Calabrese, Mrs. Muck and Jimbaloo, and out of shot is None So Wise as they come to take the 2nd last flight with Mutari and Crystal Spirit from Ruan and Yorkshire Holly. These 4 setting up quite a lead from Past Glories. Mrs. Muck has a lot to do at the 2nd last. Mutari and Crystal Spirit took it together. Mrs. Muck a mistake. Yorkshire Holly and Ruan tucked in behind, and still a big gap to Past Glories and Calabrese, but in the lead. Mutari and Richard Dunwoody. Pressing Mutari is Crystal Spirit, the mount of Jimmy Frost. Ruan comes under pressure third. Yorkshire Holly under pressure also is fourth. And it's Crystal Spirit, the novice, the least experienced runner in the field, who's looking strong at the moment on the left as Richard Dunwoody gets to work on Mutari as they run to the 10th and final flight. Mrs. Muck has pulled up over the last. Crystal Spirit touches down just ahead of Mutari second. They're going clear of Yorkshire Holly and Ruan, but Crystal Spirit staying on well. Mutari doesn't look like pegging him back. Crystal Spirit in Paul Mellon's colours, ridden by Jimmy Frost, is staying on to beat Mutari. 50 yards to run. Crystal Spirit has it. Crystal Spirit is the winner. Mutari second, Yorkshire Holly third, Ruan 4, Jimbaloo 5 running on. Then Calabrese 6, Past Glory 7, None So Wise 8, and the only one not to finish, Mrs. Muck, who pulled up. And so the result of the Bishop's Cleeve hurdle: first number 9, Crystal Spirit, owned by Mr. Paul Mellon, trained by Ian Balding and ridden by Jimmy Frost. Second, number 3, Mutari, owned by Mr. Michael Buckley, trained by Nicky Henderson and ridden by Richard Dunwoody. And third, number 7, Yorkshire Holly, owned by Mr. R. Wood, trained by Mary Reevely and ridden by Mark Dwyer. Fourth was number 6, Ruan.
First number 9, Crystal Spirit, 4-1. Second number 3, Mutari, 100 to 30. And third number 7, Yorkshire Holly, 11 to 4.